So today also we will continue the same class, theory based account. So full disclosure. Yesterday we had discussed this topic, but today just I am going to recap of this also. So full disclosure means what? He, as per Companies Act 2013, it has been mentioned there with each and every business organization, whether it is sole proprietorship, partnership, or joint stock company, especially for joint stock company, they need to disclose all the material, all the important or all the relevant information of the accounting service which are required by its users, because there are so many stakeholders who having some interest in your company. Already I have taught you all people in while several types of users of the accounting service. There are two, internal and external. In external there are so many people having the interest in your company, so they want some information from your company about your financial report so that they can analysis their wish their result, so that they can invest or they can whatever they want from your company, they can get from the information. So the full disclosure principle requires that financial statements make complete, adequate, and fair disclosure of all information which are relevant to the users of accounting service. For example, investors. So I have taught yesterday, I have remember there are two types of investor. One is actual investor who has already invested in your company, and other one is potential investor, means they are planning. The person who is planning to invest your company want to research or want to analysis your financial report before making investment. Lenders. Lenders means what? If a company approaches for the loan to a bank or to a money lender, so money lender want to analysis your solvency position, means long term solvency position, ki how much using debt in your total capital structure and how much share you are using. If the debt equity ratio or solvency position is preferable, then only lenders will sanction you loan. And creditors from whom we purchase the goods on credit also wants to analysis the current ratio or short term solvency ratio. And researchers having other interested in in the companies, they take the data and do the analysis as per their assignment. And government time to time, and taxmen also, government and regulatory agencies are taxmen which assess the tax on the income, on the amount of the income earned by the company. So now we can say full disclosure means not only they need to prepare the financial statement, but along with the financial statement, they need to disclose all other relevant information which are required by the other users of the accounting services, which having the interest in your company. Okay. So now the principle of full disclosure requires that all the material means all the important which can put effect on the result. Okay, all the material fact which help in the appraisal of operating and financial performance of an organization must be disclosed. Okay, so all the operating and financial information of an organization must be disclosed in the financial statements and in the footnotes. And some of the information we a company need to present in the form of footnotes. Footnotes means outside of balance sheet. Thus, the users can analysis and interpret the financial statements to suit their objectives. So now this is one of the principles or guidelines which provide to the accountant while they are maintaining the books of account of any business organization. They need to present all the relevant information which are useful or meaningful to outsider like investors, lenders, creditors such as government, etc. And other internal users are also there. So they need to analysis. Okay. So is there, I think this is clear. Yesterday I have taught already. So I am moving for the next slide. This is what materiality principle. You can see, and when you will observe this principle, this is just related to full disclosure, but there are some contradictory also. In case of principle of full disclosure, it is saying that a company need to disclose all the material information which are required to its end users. But here materiality principle says the company requires or to disclose only those information which having the material facts or material effect on the report. They do not need to present unnecessary or immaterial information. Okay, so the principle of, you can read from here, the principle of materiality requires recounting of material facts in the books of accounts, and accountants need not present facts which are immaterial, which are not relevant. So irrelevant information need not to present. So while determining the income of the enterprise, according to American Accounting Association, what it says, let's see. An item should be regarded as material. An item should be regarded as material if there is reason to believe that knowledge of it would influence the decisions of an informed investors. So this means this organization is saying, this association is saying that anything can be material. It will be treated as material which having the reason to believe that the knowledge of this would influence the decision of the informed investors or users. If users are getting that information and that information can change their decision, this means those information is material. Okay, so thus an item is material to one may not be material to another. Yes, so there may be possibilities that one item is material for one person but may not be material to another person, because every person wants the information according to their need. Okay, the materiality of an item depends on its nature and on the amount involved. Okay, in nature and amount involved. Suppose that there is very little bit amount and this will not affect on the result, so no need to disclose. Okay, so now following examples will illustrate it. You can see here along with me. First point, money spent on extension of size of shop is the material fact, as it will increase the future earning capacity of the business, obviously. So whatever expenditure we do in acquiring or in constructing or in increasing the capacity of production of fixed assets, it will be treated as a capital expenditure, not revenue expenditure. So whatever expenses we do for the capital expenditure like purchase of building or construction of building, okay, purchase of assets like machine, motor vehicle, furniture, etc. These all are capital expenditure and will increase the capacity of earning of the business. Hence, it is to be shown separately and it is to be disclosed so that everybody can know that this much amount has been incurred on which item. This is not an expense which benefit is deriving in the same year. So this is what capital expenditure. So capital expenditure will affect on the result. Suppose that if we have constructed a building and whole amount we have put in the expenses, so our income will reduce. It will affect on our result. But this is not a general expenses. This is what capital expenditure. And capital expenditure are to be shown in the asset side of balance sheet. It will not reduce our net income. Capital expenditure does not reduce our income. Okay, capital expenditure increases our assets. Okay, so or increases our liability. कह सकते हैं, it does not change. There's no capital expenditure not increases. We can say total asset it does not increase. Only fixed asset will increase. So money is spent on the extension of size of shop means construction of size of shop. Okay, as a material fact, it will increase the future earning capacity. Hence, it will be recorded. It is the material. Second, a variation in the value of closing stock by rupees 200 is not significant. अगर 200 रुपए से, if only 200 is, if we are putting more or less in total value of closing stock, it will not affect on our result. But a variation in cash balance of the same amount. Suppose that 200 is showing less in cash. So it is a significant and material fact because cash should not be less. If there is any missing amount of cash, just means there is some error. It means there is some error. Why our cash account is missing by rupees 200? Okay, so if total value of the stock is increasing or decreasing, it will not affect, it is not significant because there may be changes in the valuation of closing stock. But if cash balance is reducing, this is very material fact. Why this amount has been not showing? Is there some error? Similarly, stock of pencils, erasers, ink pots are not shown as an assets. Rather, they are shown as revenue expenditure under the head stationery as the amount is not significant, hence not material because these are very little amount. Okay, so these are pencils, erasers. These are not shown in the. This is totally recorded under the head of stationery, and stationery will be consumed in the same year. If there is more amount of stationery, then it will be recorded as a stock of stationery in the asset side. But amount is very little. No need to disclose it. We having the stock. So now next. So next, student, you can see on your screen. Principle of prudence or conservative principle. What is this? So according to principle of conservatives, if the management anticipate loss, it means management have estimated in advance in future there may be some loss. So provision should be made for loss. We notice here, we listen it again. If management anticipate loss, provision should be made for loss. But if it anticipates profit, it should not be recorded in the books of accounts unless and until it is realized. So, according to the convention or principle of prudence or conservatism, a businessman should record all the anticipated losses in advance, but all the anticipated profit should be ignored. It should be recorded only when it has been realized and transaction has been taken place. Right? This is what? This is very important principle. And thus, principle of conservatism requires that profit should be recorded in the books of accounts only when it is realized, but provision of loss should be made even if it is anticipated. So it is very clear the profit should not be recorded unless it has been realized, but all the anticipated losses should be recorded in advance at the time of anticipation. For example, provision for doubtful debt, provision for depreciation, etc. So this reflects a pessimistic and attitude of the management while ascertaining the profit, so that the in future if there is truly it is incurring the loss, so the net profit will not affect of the business if they are doing like this. So now this is principle of prudence. According to this, all the anticipated losses should be recorded in advance, but all the anticipated profit should not be recorded unless and until it is realized. Okay. Now we are going or moving to the next slide. However, one thing more. However, the deliberate attempt of the management in the principle of prudence we are reading. However, the deliberate means जानबूझकर, सोच समझकर. So, however, the deliberate attempt of the management to underestimate a profit, अगर वो profit को जानबूझकर कम दिखा रहा है, then the true and fair profit, what is the actual profit is coming, but management is deliberately showing less than the actual profit, so will underestimate the value of assets. Like कैसे दिखा सकता है? Assets की value मान लो 1 लाख है तो उसे 90,000 पे दिखा रहा है, यानी underestimate the value of assets and will lead the generation of hidden profit, जिसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है? Hidden profit generate हो रहा है, and the creation of secret profit in the books of account. So this means someone is asking what do you understand by secret reserve or secret profit. So you will say when a management deliberately attempt to underestimate the profit, then the true and fair profit and will underestimate the value of assets and will lead to generation of hidden profits. So whenever they are showing less profit or underestimating of the value of asset, so it will lead to the generation of hidden profit. Hidden profit is will be which cannot be represented by the financial report, but there is some profit or the creation of secret. This is also called secret profit in the books of account. Note the above para includes meaning of secret profit or secret reserve also. Okay, we are moving next slide. Concept. Which concept? Cost. The cost concept or historical cost concept. Before moving forward to this slide, just I want to make clear from you people, is there any confusion? Okay, so now this is cost concept or historical cost concept. So this is very important. Now see what is written here. First, I am explaining cost. So according to cost concept, assets are recorded in the books of account at their purchase price. Now listen, what do you mean by purchase price here? So what is the meaning of purchase price? So which includes cost of purchase, transportation, installation, and for making the assets ready to use. Means all these expenses from the day of purchase to day of ready to use. Whatever the expenses we do incur, okay, in acquiring of fixed assets is considered as a cost of that assets. For example, a machinery is purchased at a cost of rupees 40 lakhs. Then rupees 20,000 are paid as transportation cost and rupees 10,000 as installation cost. The amount of machinery, okay, the amount of machinery recorded in the books of accounts will be rupees 40 lakh 30,000. Thus, purchase price of the asset actually paid forms the basis for accounting for that asset. So, purchase price is the base for accounting of that asset. Means 40 lakh plus 20,000 plus 10,000. Total it is 40 lakh 30,000. Now it is clear that cost concept means what? So, Harsh, you having any query? Harsh? Okay. So cost concept, it is saying that okay, cost includes all the price from the date of purchase to the ready to use. I think you have understood. Now further, it is saying it means historical cost refers to the acquisition cost of the assets at which it has been purchased, including all those costs which has been incurred to make it in working condition or usable and not going to change year after year in spite of change in its market price. So now you can understand what it is saying. It is saying historical cost means every year the cost would be same. And someone having some doubts? Okay. So now further we are going. Okay. So now see, in real practice, होता है क्या actually historical cost? Historical cost does not mean that assets will continue to be shown in the balance sheet. So here it is saying, in real practice, it does not mean historical cost at what price we have purchased, we will record every year on the same price. It doesn't mean. So historical cost does not mean that asset will continue to be shown in the balance sheet several years at its cost of the purchase. It will be reduced year after year by charging. देखो यहाँ मैंने चार्जिंग बताया, ध्यान से समझना. By charging depreciation based on the useful life of that assets. Thus, the asset is shown in the balance sheet at its book value, that is cost less depreciation. Cost means, already I have explained what is the meaning of cost here. Cost includes the purchase price plus all the expenses to make it ready to use. So cost and less depreciation. Depreciation means the wear and tear value of the assets. When we continuously use a particular assets, due to use of continuous, the value of asset goes down due to wear and tear or depreciation. This is called depreciation. So every year we need to record the fixed asset in the balance sheet cost less depreciation. This is also known as book value. Okay, तो historical cost का मतलब कि जितने रुपए पे मैंने परचेस किया था और उसमें से सिर्फ डेप्रिसिएशन हर साल घटाते हुए दिखाएंगे, न कि मार्केट प्राइस पे. That's why it is called historical cost, and we can understand later on at what price it has been purchased. Suppose that if you record it on the market price, so we cannot find ki when we have purchased and at what price we have purchased, there will be difficulties. So that's why there is a need to record all the fixed asset at their original cost. Cost includes all the expenses, make it ready to use, less depreciation. This is what historical cost concept. Okay, now it is clear to all of you. Further we are going to, I think very little time is left. So further we are going matching principle. Matching principle is what? Now see, according to matching concept, expenses incurred in an accounting period should be matched with the revenues earned during that period. So whatever expenses we are making, it should be matched with the revenue earned from that expenses during that period. Means जो भी पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं उससे मिलने वाला इनकम उसी अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में मिलना चाहिए जिसमें हम लोग एक्सपेंसेस कर रहे हैं. Thus, the expenses and revenue must belong to same accounting period to determine the correct profit of the accounting period. Since the accounts are prepared on accrual basis, so expenses incurred in an accounting period are matched with the revenue recognized in that period. So चूंकि हम लोग क्या करते हैं यहाँ पर अक्रूवल बेसिस पे भी रिकॉर्ड करते हैं, तो एक्सपेंसेज हमारा इनकर्ड हो गया चाहे पेमेंट किए हो या ना किए हो, बट एक्सपेंसेज हो गया और उससे मिलने वाला रेवेन्यू उसी अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में जनरेट होना चाहिए. तो यानी मैचिंग का मतलब आवर रेवेन्यू एंड एक्सपेंसेस शुड बी मैच्ड विद द सेम अकाउंटिंग पीरियड. This is what matching principle. Okay. Next, in brief, we can say that matching concept implies that all revenues earned during an accounting year, whether received or not, and all expenses incurred during an accounting year, whether paid or